Good morning, beautiful people, and you're welcome to the Entrepreneurship Spotlight on the Weekend Show. My name is Roland Obogbin, and today we'll be diving into critical issue revolving around climate change in Nigeria today in the midst of insecurity, inflation, and also the high standard of living. Let's look at what climate change has to play in our present Nigeria. The recent just concluded Conference of Party, which is an international body focused on regulating climate actions in our world today. Joining us to make sense of this conversation is a practitioner in the climate industry. He's the president of He is the president, Association of Environmental Protection and Climate Change Practitioner in Nigeria. Sir, you're welcome on the show.
Thank you very much. Beautiful to be here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
His name is Air Vice Marshal Eze Akugbe Iyamu. Sorry about that. Air Vice Akugbe Iyamu, to make sense of the conversation. Right. So just give us a brief about the Conference of Party that held not quite long in Nigeria that focused on climate change.
Well, the Conference of Party, like you know, held in Brazil, that was COP30. You know, every year, the environmental atmosphere ecosystem is assessed and see how far are we doing, how are we not doing. You know, since 1970, science have favored it that we must move away from fossil fuel if we must survive. And that has been going. Now, the Conference of Party this year was very significant because every 5 years, they're supposed to provide what is called nationally determined contribution. That shows how you are going to reduce the carbon emission in the atmosphere to bring it down to reduce the temperature. Now, this year's own was 3.0, Nigeria's 3.0 and all. Was supposed to have been produced in February, but it got to November. What's the significance of that? Because, like I said before, up to science supported the 1970 situation. Then in 1980, the international oil companies also say that, look, you have a tendency for 1 degree temperature rise in the world. You know what a 1 degree temperature rise is? It affects everything. It affects security, it affects food, it affects poverty, a whole lot of nations. So if you don't do anything about it, you are going to continue to go down. You're going to go down the lane. And to just buttress this, last year, that's 2024, you have temperature going very high, up to 1.4 plus or minus 0.12. That's very significant. So there are 10 steps I will list as we go ahead in the interview, which we must look at.
Okay.
Yes.
In Nigeria today, I don't know if some of our leaders and also some African countries give cautious attention to climate change. In the present of the situation we are in Nigeria, how Nigerians has responded to this climate change and what the cost of ignoring climate actions?
Now, like I told you, I said science from 1970 have showed that, look, we must gradually leave fossil fuel.
But Nigeria is an oil-producing nation. So how do we tilt away? We know there's the invention of solar, and Nigeria is trying to go through green energy creation and all that. So how do we navigate through that, being that we are a major, our economy is focused majorly on fuel?
Yes. Saudi Arabia and all, they are all oil-producing country. But it also... Russia and China, but they are all moving away. They know that there's no future in that direction. There's no future in that direction. You ask us, are we doing well? 8 out of every 10 Nigeria believe that their government is not doing well. They're not paying much attention to climate change. If we pay much attention to climate change, like we pay attention to politics and election, we would have been far. Don't forget, we went to COP30, and Ethiopia took it from us. took the hosting right for COP32 from us. What did Ethiopia do? Ethiopia had be very consistent. They said, look, we are going to build 100,000 electric vehicles over the next decade or a couple of years. Our own, what is our projection for all these things? Our climate change commission is not even established. It's not even established. There's uncertainty there, instability. You have three director general in 1 year. In 1 year. So the conference of party don't run like that. They want stability.
Consistency.
They want consistency. They want consistency. So if you, and I don't even think where's their office? You don't even hear much about them. They go for conference of party this year. Before you hear about them again, is the next conference of party. No.
All right, sorry to interject you because we have plenty of time, limited time at our disposal. But I want you to do a wrap-up on that. With all what you've said about Ethiopia, are we saying that we are having a leadership issue concerning climate change, or our institutions revolving around climate change need to be strengthened? And also you talked about giving us some steps. So let's wrap up this conversation with this. Thank you.
See, the thing is that it's priority. It's not only that it's priority. You see, if in the midst of climate change you want to bid for COP32, you are telling them you want to increase fuel tax by 15%. You're already telling them that you are not ready to leave the fossil fuel environment. You're also telling them you are ramping up your production by to 2.5% million barrels per day. You're also telling them that you are not leaving fossil fuel. And that's not the language you want to hear. Although there's very strong lobbying around fossil fuel, but you shouldn't present it in the open like that as if, look, I'm indifferent of what the world or where the world is going. Now, you see, what is nice is that, you see, the temperature, like I told you, in 2024, is now 1.4 plus or minus 0.12. That's very significant. That's very significant. So if you look now, 1.1 billion people in the world are multidimensionally poor. 133 million of them are in Nigeria. You have 888 million people in the world that are poor. What do you have in Nigeria? 139 of them are here. You see, in this, 1 out of every 4 is in the country that is being faced by climate change. Now we have number 3. We have submitted the agenda 3. That is the 3.0. What is the content of it? Now we have a lot of things to sell. We have the biomes. We have the forest. Our forest is one of the still at its natural stage. Still at its natural stage. So it is very, very crucial for, you see, like it is being said now that forest should not be at the sideline anymore. It has to be in the mainstream, because if you are talking of nature-based solution, you are actually referring to forests. You understand? Like I said before, 5 of 5 is we're in the third submission of the nationally determined carbon now, which they have also submitted. Nigeria have submitted their own 3.0, but they said that, look, they are going to reduce it to is it 49% or so, below the business as usual. That is not a commitment. That is a wish. That's the wish that you just push out. Number 6 of it is that, look, before 2015, it will take 6 times more effort in resources and everything to deal with the climate change now that we have now. The second aspect of it is that the new generation, the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha and all, they are going to see 7 times of what the extreme weather was before. Like I told you before, 8 out of every 10 Nigerians believe that the government of Nigeria is not doing enough in climate change. Now, 9, you see, the global stock, 9% of the global stock is now on green energy. And we are not exploiting that. We just want, see, as they were dealing with the COP30, some countries were expecting scientific input, some were expecting climate financing. Climate financing is not Father Christmas. You have to work for it. So if 9% of the world stock is now from green energy, that means you have to be serious about the business. Like number 10, like I told you, the Paris Agreement is on its 10th year now. And what are we doing? What are we doing? We need stability in the climate environment. We need to develop that commission so that it can be attractive in the world. And we need to sell our biomes, we need to sell our forests, we need to sell a whole lot of things into the world. You don't just carry your load and say you want to go and bid for certain. Look at in 1 year, you failed to qualify for World Cup. The same year, you're bidding for Cup 32, failed. In the same year, Commonwealth Games failed. So something is wrong. You really need to go back. And as you are looking at it, if you are applying for bidding for anything, the international community are looking at your country, the security situation, the economic situation, and everything. How do you prepare these large people that are going to come in?
Thank you so much. I think that's a good place to leave the conversation. With everything said now, that means it's very critical not to ignore climate action as a call to action.
It's a call to action.
Thank you so much for enlightening the viewers and also Nigerians on the COP30 that just held and also what Nigerians need to do. All right, viewers, that's all we have for you on the weekend show today. My name is Roland Obogben. See you next week.
Perfect way to start your Saturday morning. You should be watching the weekend show.
Please. Play.
Welcome back. You're now watching the Lifestyle Show.
Lifestyle and politics, we talk on everyday topics that reach everyday people.
And on the sports segment of the weekend show, we bring you some of the most exciting headlines across the world of sports.
And on the Entrepreneur Spotlight, we bring you entrepreneurs and tech innovators from around the world.
Or not to be? That is the question.
Even on social media trends and entertainment, I bring you exciting and relatable stories from all our celebrities.
And this is the Climate Chat segment. I am Zainab Adesola.
Hi, I'm Shibi.
Sorry,
I'm Chibalu.